Court is calling 2023 CR 3486, State of Texas versus Heather K. Moore. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense.
Paul J. Smith for the defense.
And are you Ms. Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all of the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
We did, Your Honor, yes.
Ms. Moore, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, we're waiving count one, proceeding on count two.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on count two? The
Yes, ma'am.
charge is possession of a controlled substance penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a second degree felony.
Yes, ma'am.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yeah, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 2. Punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison, and the state is opposed to your application for community supervision and deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Judge.
Then to the offense in count 2, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Contest.
State, any evidence?
State offer state exhibit one in all attachments.
No objection.
All right, you may continue to confirm. You're excused. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. The court will order a TAP evaluation and a PSI. Your sentencing will take place on September 19th. And I will base my decision on your application based upon any evidence that's presented to the court. Do you understand? Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, who's here on Heather Moore? 2023 CR 3486, State of Texas versus Heather Moore. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Defense?
Paul J. Smith for the defense.
All right, and are you Ms. Moore? All right, we're here. You entered a plea of no contest to count 2. The state waived count 2 without objection. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison, and the state is opposed to your application for community supervision and for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor.
State, any objections to the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any objections to the PSI report?
No, Your Honor.
State, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Just my client, Your Honor, in a brief summation.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record. All right, make sure you keep your voice up so that I can hear and the court reporter can hear. All right, defense?
Ms. Moore, you have entered a plea to this case and are asking this court for a form of community supervision. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Why should this court even consider community supervision for you?
Well, I need medical treatment where I had a brain aneurysm last year. So I've been missing my appointments for my checkups. And this past week I had an incident at the jail. They had to take me to the hospital.
How long ago did you have your aneurysm?
January 24th. 23.
And as a result of that, has that required some substantial life changes for you?
Yeah, I can't see out of my right eye, and I have been going through physical therapy. I had to learn how to walk again, and lucky to be alive.
Have you decreased or substantially changed your pattern when it comes to mind altering substances?
Yeah, I have to stay clean because of my aneurysm, because I can rupture it and it can kill me.
Now, in your PSI, you indicated a willingness to perform any conditions the court required. Is that a true statement?
Yes, sir.
And one of the recommendations perhaps would be drug offender education program.
Yeah.
Are you willing to take urine tests weekly if the
Yes.
court ordered it?
Every day if I have to.
And the amount of medical care required, where do you receive that and how do you receive that?
I get disability. They have me on disability.
And where do you go for your treatment or medical care?
The neurologist.
Neurologist?
Yeah.
Okay. And who is that?
Dr. Morton.
And where does he practice?
The Baptist Methodist Hospital.
Now, as far as living arrangements, have you made appropriate arrangements with family?
Yes, sir.
And tell us briefly, are you married?
Yes, sir.
And who are you married to?
Patrick Harris.
How long have you been married?
20 years.
And do you have a close relationship with any brothers or sisters and parents?
Yes, I do.
And where do they live?
Odessa, Texas.
In your pre-sentence report, you indicated that there were some places that you might ask the court to transfer you to.
Dallas, Texas, or Odessa.
And why is that?
My husband is in Dallas and my parents live in Odessa.
And if the court required you to live here, could you find appropriate?
Yes, I have address here.
Now, as far as any type of plans for the future, if you look, say, 2 or 3 years in the future, where do you see yourself being?
Going back to school.
And what kind of school you'll be back going to?
To finish my GED and hopefully try to learn something in college, something. I don't know exactly what I could do, but something different.
What is your goal in life at this point?
Be a mom, take care of my kids.
And when was the last time you held them or touched them or saw them?
5 months ago.
And what's it like for you being in a prison or a cell?
It's difficult because with my aneurysm, I can't have stress. It's the headaches. And if I do, my blood pressure, I'm not really able to get the medical care I need to get.
And did that happen last week?
Yes, I was in the hospital last week. They took me.
Some might say that raising children is very stressful, more so than a jail cell. What are your opinions on that?
I mean, being in jail is way worse because I can't eat right. I can't, keep my blood pressure right.
Do you have blood sugar issues also?
No,
Any other issues that you're aware of?
well, none of them really.
And the medicine, do you know the regimen of prescriptions you're on for your blood pressure and aneurysm?
It starts with the I and one of them is nematol and then the other one is baby aspirin and their blood pressure is, I don't know. It starts with the I.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
And how would you get those medicines if the court were to grant you some sort of supervision?
With my disability, the insurance.
Is there anything else that you'd like to tell this court that we haven't covered?
No. I just want to be able to get the medical care I need to finish my physical therapy.
Ask the witness.
State?
I only have a few questions. In your PSI, you mentioned that in regards to this offense, that we're doing something You kind of figured out what it was and you put your trust in someone. What did you mean by that?
Well, I thought that they were, my friend. I thought they were like family to me, but it turned out it wasn't.
I'm sorry, they turned out what?
It turned out to be something that it wasn't.
Okay.
And as a result of this incident, did you attempt to rectify it with the police department?
Yes, sir.
And did you attempt to help them?
Yeah.
And did you accept responsibility, acknowledge guilt in this case?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions? All right, how old are your children?
She's 6, 12, 13, 16.
All right. And where were your children during this offense?
With my husband.
And that's the person you've been with for 20-something years? So from reading the police report, it appears you knew you were transporting drugs.
Yeah, I kind of figured that. I was.
Well, I mean, what do you mean you kind of
I
figure?
knew I was, yes.
Okay. And it was transporting a lot of drugs. Why would you transport drugs?
I was doing a favor for a friend. I was taking something somewhere for somebody and I didn't know exactly. I kind of figured it was what it was, but I didn't think about it.
No, it says in the police report, and I don't know if you've had a chance to review the police report again, but in the police report, you get pulled over.
Yes, ma'am. I knew I was doing what I was doing.
All right, because it says here, I began speaking with S1, that's you, who still appeared very nervous. S1 began speaking to me about where she was headed. I temporarily muted my body cam because S1 began speaking about information, that should be confidential. And then they say that you actually admitted you were transporting drugs and that you knew you were transporting drugs.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't understand when you say that you figured it out later.
Yeah, when I got pulled over, I kind of realized that it was something that,
So you're saying in the very beginning, you had no idea until you were pulled over?
I didn't think it was what it was that I was taking. Because it was wrapped up. It was like in a box and everything. So I didn't know.
So you're saying that you didn't know what you were possessing.
At first I didn't.
So when did you discover what you were possessing?
Whenever they pulled me over.
All right, state. Any questions?
No, Judge.
Defense, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're saying you didn't know what it was. Do you want a jury trial? All right.
Just want to go ahead and get this over with so I can get on with my medical care.
All right, court will hear final argument, defense.
Your Honor, as the court has perused the PSI, has gathered some information that indicates a client that has physical disabilities and opportunity to provide information to the officers. Also, she has admitted guilt, has had difficulties in this jail system with him getting appropriate medical attention. And we respectfully ask the court to grant some sort of supervision.
State.
Judge, it's a very large amount of drugs. Just from the PSI and just from the police report, the defendant knew what she was doing. Again, that's why the state was opposed to any application, so that's why we're opposed.
All right. So Ms. Moore, I'm considering, of course, the facts of this case, and then sometimes our history follows us around, right? And your history, you've been on probation before, and you were unsuccessful, you were revoked. And then this case, it's a lot of drugs.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Okay.
I'm older now. Back then I was young. I didn't have the resources then to do. But I know I can complete the probation.
All right, so here's my question now. Where was your husband in all of this?
At home,
So he had no idea that this was going on?
you know,
So he had no idea that you had a drug problem? Is that what you're telling me?
no, he knew I had a drug problem.
And he had no idea you were
He
transporting
didn't know
drugs?
how I was doing it.
And has Child Protective Services been in your life
Yes, ma'am.
with your children? And so you're saying your children have been placed with your husband?
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
They've always been with him.
So what did Child Protective Services do then?
They just left them, but they didn't ever come to my, they didn't ever do nothing.
Okay. All right. The court is going to find you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. I'll request the therapeutic medical unit. With that unit, you'll have to actually request it as well because I have no jurisdiction for them to place you in that unit. But that unit will help you with any drug issues you may have, any physical medical issues or mental health units. All right, we can go off the record. When you're released from custody, you need to make sure that you get back on track, being clean and sober. You understand? If you have an issue where you can't find a place to help you with that, if I'm here, you can always come back to the court and I'll direct you to a place that can help you. Good luck to you.
Let's get the facts straight. She loves a verbal ashtray. Never blowing smoke when she gets pissed. She's quick to castrate. Love her on a good day, love her on a bad day. Either way, she's here to stay, stay, stay. Polly only